Lovely. Okay, I will ask you in this way. Let's say a childhood friend of yours is now visiting you. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, what will he miss the most of the other Stefan and today's Stefan?
I have no idea if he or she would miss anything. Um, I would just think it's more the other way around, that there's probably more happiness and more playfulness today than sometimes in my youth time. Because I discovered my life more in a way like getting more freedom and more coming to myself and putting off all the stuff I thought I had to develop that in my younger life.
In that case, I will ask you like this. Which part of your journey mm, still you feel it is not finished?
Oh, a lot. I think on that way to get rid of restricting beliefs and get probably rid of responsibilities for things which do not really fit to my personal vision and core. I think that journey isn't finished. Probably it's never finished until as long as we live on this planet. I have a lot of things I would like to explore, to travel more, to increase the impact I can have for other people, to increase joy and fun of life. So I think there's quite a lot of a way to go, but I'm on a good track for my own perspective.
Perfect. If that is the case, then I should uh, ask you this question. Which is the moment that you would think that, you know, which gave you the moment? Is that the speech? Is that the stage which actually changed, according to you, if you go back and say that, "Hey, if that did not happen, I may not be who I am right now." Is there a moment
Mhm.
which comes to your mind right now? There may be multiple, but what,
Yeah, that's the point. It's not one moment. It's more
no,
a
when you
chain.
think that,
It's
what
yeah.
comes to your mind first?
Yeah, it's a chain of a few different situations. For example, it was a situation on the farm when I learned farmer as a first profession, and there was a situation I recognized I can do that now for the rest of my life. I know how I would do it, I could grow the farm, and I immediately recognized that's not fulfilling for myself, and that was the decision to quit this situation. Um, there was another situation where I have an aunt. She gives me a completely different perspective on life because she lived with her husband, who is a manager and owner of a big company in a bigger city in Germany, and they showed me Cologne and Düsseldorf when I was a young farmer boy, and then I discovered this other world with another wealth, with another culture, and that was really mind blowing and opened up another world, and that was important. And yeah, and there's quite a lot of situations. My first traveling to the United States when I was 24, and I stood at this place in Santa Barbara at the sea, and I recognized when I'm able to go here, I could go overall on this planet. So
Yeah.
that was such moments. There are quite a lot of such moments which gave opened a door or a window to the next step.
Lovely. So I will pin you to that. And the moment you were standing on that bench and then you
Mhm.
were actually reconciling your life, I'm sure everybody gets that kind of a moment, right? Like, oh my
Mhm.
God, I'm here. A bit of satisfaction, a bit of accomplishment, and a bit of, like, okay, that minute, if I can probably ask you, maybe personal question too, who came to
Mhm.
your mind? Or who all came to your mind? Probably, I'm trying to connect the people whom you are, the gratitude scale,
Mhm.
from here to here, I'm here. Now the minute I stand in the beach, okay,
Mhm.
who came to your mind?
Mm, I think really not a special human being
No,
in
you
that
in the sense
moment,
like,
but it's
I'm
more,
saying like, yeah,
yeah, yeah, it's more like a kind of a universal gratitude and feeling of a connection to to humanity and life at a much bigger extension. It's not just between one or the other humans, but it's the connectivity, the connection with humanity and the universe. It's sounds quite pathetic, but it's like I felt that energy on the ocean and that proudness on my own journey and a tremendous amount of gratitude to be able to do that and to be there and to have that experience
yeah,
and
that,
to
and
feel the tremendous amount of possibilities for me and for everyone.
yeah, because we crossed the hard way.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
So that travel would have been not that difficult. It means like not that easy. It would have been really difficult. Okay,
Hmm.
so if probably let's say like this. Mm, let's say Stefan of 20 years before is now coming holographically in front of you. Okay.
Hmm.
And then if that person is now asking for a role reversal,
Yeah.
okay, that holography is going to come sit and talk to me right now, and you are going to go back 20 years or 25 years before.
Hmm.
What will Stefan do now? Will you do the same, or will you probably, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm sure there are people whom we made a wrong choice. We will say goodbye on the first day itself. So with with the knowledge of today,
Hmm.
I'm teleporting you with a time travel 20, 25 years before. What could have happened to that Stephen?
Good question. Um, I'm not sure. So I think mm, probably I would have done some things faster and with more courage and less fear.
Perfect.
Um, but that's when I come with my knowledge from today in my life 20 years ago, then it's quite easy. What I would have, what I recommend my younger self
Will
to,
you be doing the same thing, what you're doing right now, or probably different?
I think in the core quality the same thing because this working with people in companies, this inspiring on the stage is really a very consistent mission and motivation in my life. So that was there very early. It's more like to get that really at work and to put all the restrictions and all the stuff at the side, which is not helpful to do that. So I think I did a lot of work. I should have said no to the one or the other customer or to the one or the other development in my company. And I should have encouraged myself to start earlier to do really the things I love. And I have probably the biggest impact. So I would have probably to do less developing a company and more going on my own in the direct um, in the direct working with people in speeches or things like that. Or I have
Perfect.
written my book for earlier. Don't know.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, let's probably, I'm sticking on to the same question, and
Hmm.
I'm going to just switch the table on a personal side. If Stefan of today, with the same
Hmm.
knowledge of today, same whatever is the understanding of today, 20, 25 years before, on your personal side, other than professional,
Hmm.
how will that would have been?
Um, Even it's probably a little bit disappointing. I don't have an idea that it would have been very much. different because that was the time when our both sons just were born. So they're 24 and 26 now, and um, that was a great time we experienced as a young family together. Um, Probably, of course, I could have spent a bit more time with my family, but it was not so bad because I changed not to do as many seminars there because I don't want to leave or to miss the development steps of our children, because I always recognized if I'm on business travels for 4 or 6 days, I just miss some important developments. 2 days is okay, but more that wasn't really good. So it changed that a little bit. Um, yeah, but I don't think that I would have done big changes with the knowledge of today.
That's not a disappointing answer. That's actually a perfect answer, which probably means that you have actually done a lot of green checks. It- it-
Yeah, yeah, I think in the big picture, that's my personal way I think on my life. Yes, but probably there's in smaller amounts a lot of things um, which I put my life or created my life much more um, with much more effort and energy as it would have been necessary when I would have like more the ability and the self-love to say no to some things I meant to have to do them. So I think it could have been much easier and sometimes with more fun, more joy, and not so hard work or so long work or
Perfect.
so. Uh,
You have given me my next question.
okay,
That's
then
what
go
was
on.
running. That's what was running in my mind. Okay. So with
Mhm.
so much of planning, with so much of this, everything that we are who we are today. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, Maybe two part of question. Is there a point where you just go back to your childhood, that uncontrollable fun, laughter, the happiness, that exactly what you just told right now? Or is there something which you practice in a way that you will have to probably let loose at some point in time so that there is a balance?
Um, of course, there's always a kind of thoughts on how could that have been in a childhood with very so
I'll make the question easy so that
yeah.
what will make you laugh like a child?
Traveling, discovering new people, new situations, and laughing at situations which just are occurring outside. So
Mm.
it's really for me it was the discovering of traveling was a very important source of joy of joy of life, of laughing and of being in a very good and easy mood, which helps to be creative and just to live life and be happy with that. So that started, I think, with normally I think with 50 year in the age of 50, I um,
Wow.
I gave myself as a gift for my 50th anniversary a trip to Bangkok. And there's a small funny story because when I was I think about 24, 25, I did seminars in Austria, which is a short flight, but to fly from home going to Frankfurt, fly to Graz in Austria. That was such a big thing for me as a farmer's boy. And I did seminars with farmers there. And I was so overwhelmed of that impression that I was flown in another country to give a seminar there. I was so overwhelmed of the situation, and went out of that plane, and directly in front of me there was a big guy with a black suit and a black bag. And he was asked for connecting flights. And he said, Bangkok. And he said, Bangkok. In a way, I would have told the name of the neighborhood, the neighbor village. And was so impressed. Hey,
It's like that.
how is that possible just to speak about Bangkok, which is on the other part of the world, than I do it from my neighborhood village. And that impression was so sticky to my mind. And it came back 30 years later when I traveled on my own to Bangkok. And I sat in a rooftop bar at night. And I'm in Bangkok once a year in January at the
Yeah.
beginning of my Asia trip. I love that. And beginning from that, I started to do vacation trips, so just taking my computer, going somewhere in the sun in autumn or in spring when it's quite cold in Germany, and working, walking, living at the beach for a week or two, and then starting to discover interesting things in countries while traveling. And that was and connecting with people like in the great Chennai convention with the Indian speakers, and where we met, and where so many interesting and very warm connections occurred. That was really great, and I love such experiences. And it's really getting yeah, that's the right way of a kindness, happiness, and love of life.
I in fact wanted to ask you that only. Maybe I would have asked you in PSS itself, but when we met, or when maybe the second day or whatever, you were not looking like a foreigner in a different country. Is that because of your multiple travel experience? You already, started getting a feel of, what it is. You were not looking like a example. If I'm traveling to Germany,
Hmm.
you can very easily say that I don't belong there. Okay,
Hmm.
not because of the way that I look or whatever it is. Like
Hmm.
the traveler switch is always on.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
but I did not get that feel at all. When we just met in the lawn on the first day, you spoke as if you are here for a very long time, or probably you were
Hmm.
more grounded. If grounded is the word, probably, or
Hmm.
understanding, or because you travel and meet a lot of people, you kind of know your starting line or something. I don't know how
Hmm.
did that happen.
I think in where when we met in the speakers convention, that was, I think, at least from two perspectives, something's very special because when I'm traveling normally, I just going in a country. Of course, I book a hotel or an apartment, but I'm not trying to do what normal tourists are doing. I'm trying to work. I sit in a cafe and I try to connect with people coming around, sometimes by accident. And I love to explore this connection. So that, of course, is my personal attitude to travel and I love people and I love to get in connection. And sometimes it's only just small dialogues which are not really meaningful but can be happy and give a connection to people, and that's inspiring. So that's a normal way of traveling. Especially in our speakers convention, there's of course there's a I think there's a kind of a culture between this in the speaker associations all around the world. So I felt very much at home with a similar energy I know from our German Speakers Association, which is a little bit similar in the Indian Speakers Association, and in the others probably the same. So it was kind of the same profession, the same energy that made it very easy. And I was so warmly welcomed on preparing, taking part in the convention, giving a speech on my own. So that was a very easy way to get in contact. And of course, it's fine when it doesn't have the situation like a foreigner. So it was an international audience there, some others too, and I really enjoyed to be the only German in that area because it's quite often we're quite a lot of us in some like events like that, and that was very interesting for me, and so I can forget from which country I come and just try to connect and to learn a lot on of this about this very interesting and huge country, India.
Yeah, that actually takes me naturally to this. I'm also a people person. I can probably say that in my phone there is a minimum of at least 2,000, 3,000 contacts who are still there. Okay.
Hmm.
One of the things which is possibly I can ask you this because that's a great point to start with. One of the things which is being thrown at me is that I don't keep in touch with people.
Yeah.
You, you
Hmm.
will also know that because I haven't been in touch with you. So, uh, the, how do you change that, and why do you change that? Means like, and the point what I'm trying to ask is, yes, now we have connected, now there is a
Hmm.
relationship, and next what?
Hmm. Well, you know, same with me. That, of course, is it's a kind of an impossible challenge, I think. So it's if you love to get in contact with new people, and you do that every time you travel to different countries. So I have from all of my trips, I have connections in my phone. So I think social media, WhatsApp, all those modern technologies are really helpful to stay a little bit in touch, even if you don't have a personal communication. You just see, oh, there's Satish is on this conference, and then my connections from Ghana, they are in another conference, and there's an event, and then you just can have a short comment, and then you get stay much better in touch than it would have been possible years ago. And I think, yeah, we shouldn't try to have the challenge too big for ourselves, because it's just not possible to stay in contact with so many people if you don't have a reason for that. But
Yeah,
if the connection is well enough, I think it can be 5 years later. So even you
it
just
just
reached out
matches.
for me for that podcast. So there's no question to ask. It's just a question where to find the right place in the schedule.
Yeah,
And if that would have been in 5 years, that would be okay too. So if there's a good connection, it might be quite easy.
absolutely, absolutely, fantastic. Okay, now I'll ask a very philosophical angle now. Okay,
Okay.
if because what you actually answered is also kind of philosophical. That's where I picked it up. Where you say that even if you are not talking to me for 5 years, even
Hmm.
after 5 years, when the message comes, if the networking or if a connection is solid enough, then
Hmm.
it gets the instant connection. Okay,
Hmm.
so that's what is the takeaway that I took, and which probably uh, takes me to this saying like, okay, what if I say that mm, when Stephen has absolutely no expectation in this world whatsoever, okay,
Hmm.
what will you be doing?
I think traveling and helping people discovering their own glimpse in their eye, so to find what is their mission in life.
So travel is almost like a therapy, right? Travel is not just a passion, it's almost like a therapy.
Yeah, and it must not have, it don't have to be always um, exciting places. It's just more, it's more a metaphoric thing for being in life and stay in, stay in motion, um, going for the calls I feel, um, and having the freedom not to have to do anything, but to be in your own energy and your own um, in your own freedom, and to go for action whenever you have the impulse and the idea and the intuition, and not to do things because they are planned and have to be planned. So this kind of freedom, um, that sounds like not working at all, but it can be quite with a lot of work and effort sometimes. But with that freedom, really to stick with that topic the people, the situation, which is um, just important in that moment, and just to be there. And if there, I don't have any expectations to build up anything, I think it would be the feeling just to be helpful wherever I am at the moment and whoever needs me.
Lovely. So since we are still in the travel topic,
Hmm.
mm, if I probably because you have traveled around the world, and you keep it a practice of having travel close to you. Um, if I probably ask you, I think you are the correct person. If I have to ask you a definition, universal definition, or probably universal meaning of a human being, no matter from where they are coming,
Hmm.
okay, what are all those that you have noticed, and what are all those that you would probably want people to notice? One you have noticed, another is like you know
Hmm.
where from wherever they are, just
Yeah,
we are human beings, and what makes us that? What is that
yeah.
thing universal?
I think um, what I have experienced very often how similar people are, human beings are, no matter which color, which belief, which country, which wealth level people have. So there is a kind of positive energy of a wish to be seen, to be happy, to play, to be recognized, to be loved, to be able to have trust. I think that's quite universal human. And I would wish that as many people as possible are able to live this without any force or restricting beliefs or restricting experiences, so that this original human being can evolve and can live without any threats. That would be great. And we have, of course, to get rid of a lot of yeah, dangerous developments. Human beings are doing so much bad things. Of course, if you recognize the reality, you could lose the belief and at the positive things in human beings. But I think we should held up the optimism and find proofs of situations where people show that positive things and developments are possible, and we should stick to that belief and never stop trying to make the world a little bit better.
Perfect, perfect. That let's say if I compare young Stefan to old Stefan. Okay, I'm not calling
Mhm.
you old, but the age
Mhm.
difference. The point is
Fine, that's fine. Yeah.
the expectation, hope, confidence, and maybe universal belief. What would be the difference? I'm sure, the young Stefan is, carried a lot of hope. You still
Hmm.
carry it, like how is it you still have the same kind of a hope, or is there a small aberration to it, or is the hope is still there but in a different version? Take us through
Hmm.
your brain, what is going on right now.
I think the hope is more stable and more grounded. Um, Probably I'm more often, I don't have the impulse just to start changing the world immediately. And because, of course, that's the experience that you can run out of energy when you start too many things to try to bring them in reality. That's just not to handle. And so I try to learn, I still try to do that, to focus enough on not too many things to really do in real life and to focus on the right things. Yeah, but and of course there are some developments you could could bring down the optimism a little bit. But it's so a deep motivation to find positive examples, if it's in the working world, if it's in the society at all, if it's in a global scale. Um, so unless it's not really proven that we don't have a chance with optimism, I will stick to the optimism and try to prove that that will be the better way. I think it's even if the pessimists sometimes will be right, before until that is will have happened, I stay to the optimistic way and try to do things to to inspire people to do the same and to change things to a positive way. And I always experience there's so many more positive examples, but they are not so known. The catastrophes are much more in
Bigger
the
scale.
public in a bigger scale at a public acknowledgement, and we need to talk about the positive uh, examples, the things we can discover which are working really well, and not a lot of people know about that, and we should try to change that to a more positive way of speaking about the situations, the developments, and the opportunities.
Beautifully said. Very nice. Very beautifully said. Nice. Uh,
And if we speak on climate or AI or the way we live together and we are able to do that in a peaceful way, I think if you have to write, sometimes we are like um, a radio. You can change the frequency on which you're receiving information, and you can have another picture of the world than other people. And so now traveling is therapy. So I'm sometimes our German colleagues sometimes are not really the most positive and joyful tourists and travelers, but if I'm traveling, I always look for the interesting, positive things in another country, and I find a lot of them. And therefore, it's quite easy to get in a positive contact, to get a great service, to be patient if something's not working like you expected to do. And I'm sometimes this year, I think in Thailand, I met a German guy in a pharmacy, and he was
wow.
completely complaining on people, on the lack of knowledge, and I think, in which country is he traveling? But that was his own thoughts, and
Yeah.
that's the classes he see the world through that, and that experience gave me the experience how, yeah, how nice and great and smart my own way to see another country is, because I save so many energy and I have so many interesting positive experiences and connections with people wherever I go. Probably that has something to do with my way of looking to the world.
Perfect. You're absolutely right, because that's exactly what I ask when I talk about that, the foreigner in a different, uh, uh,
Hmm.
the way that you look at the way that you connect with people actually matters. And
Hmm.
mm, I kind of I'm not even saying it for everybody who is seeing it. I have experienced the way that Stefan interacts. So we sat next to each other for almost 10, 20 hours together. Okay. So that actually brings me the question of legacy. Okay.
Hmm.
So should uh, maybe me or maybe everybody, we have been running behind achievements. Okay, we have been running behind achievements. When you're talking about the greater good, when you're talking about,
Hmm.
the universal, inclusiveness and things like that. Should we be mm, changing the angle of our path or our planning from achieving a milestone or achieving a positive legacy? You can take your own life as an example, like maybe the young Stefan who would have been running behind the achievements, and now you are kind of
Hmm.
working on the legacy, kind of, and how, take that, and probably, let us know what your views on that.
Very good question. I think it's a kind of a rhetorical question at some part, because if
You
we
let me
have
do
to,
that. You
Yeah.
won't take later.
Yeah,
These
but
are these are just coming. Okay.
yeah, yeah. If you have a clear idea of something like a legacy you will stay for, and mm, then of course that's the bigger scale and perspective than to run for smaller milestones. And probably it's the real importance of life or the real mission for your personal life probably don't comes out if you stick too close to milestones, because that comes from our brain and our logical brain. And the real heart opening bigger steps probably come more if you just go on and go for an inner call you hear, which you probably can't really sort in the right way when it comes, but you feel I have to do that. So, for example, when I reached out for probably I would come to the Indian Speakers Convention. That was just I thought about my traveling and I thought, hey, that would be possible. India sounds great. I wanted to go to India anyway, and probably that would be an occasion. And then I reached out, and then it developed in a way which was a great experience for myself, including a speech in English, what I'm not so used to do in the years before, but I really enjoy it and like to do it more often. And with speaker colleagues, and that was, and on my topic, how to get ready for the future of work, that was
Yeah.
a great experience. So I never could have planned that in a
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
there was an opportunity and a kind of an inner call, and then it's going in with the flow, just writing a message, getting in contact, and then it developed in the various communications.
Yeah. You spoke about more on, finding the meaning. So I'm going to again take your word and then asking you, what, mm, according to Stefan, what will be your view, your take on a meaningful life?
Um,
Or what would a meaningful life mean to you?
I think having an impact on whatever is the right thing for yourself. That can be an impact in the life of other people in a very close personal way. That can be an impact on a bigger amount of people. So for me personally, that's really the wish to have an impact on the way people look on their personal life, with which attitude they go through their lives. So in a working space, of course, it's the question, how can we create better employers and can show in specific companies how work could really be, with more being seen of the personality of people, of more development of people, and a better teamwork, better leadership, so that people can go with a smile to their work and come from their work with a smile too, and everyone is happy and the company is productive. And that should be normal. It isn't. So we have a lot of work to do, but that's possible. And I think behind that, what's getting more and more important for myself, or getting more conscious for me, is on a very personal way, this getting rid of restricting beliefs and really bring out your zone of genius, your own talents and your own mission, and really go for that what is really important for yourself, and not doing what other people are expecting, or what is usually normal. So get rid of that and create your own style of life and enjoy that, and don't go on with complaining about life and circumstances and all those things.
Perfect. Lovely. Okay. We have been speaking for almost like 40 minutes plus right now. Okay.
Wow.
So
Okay.
let me ask this question. Let's say your friend, family, you pick whoever you want in your mind. Okay,
Hmm.
they
Hmm.
are actually watching this conversation either in live or in uploaded version, wherever it is.
Hmm.
What do you think that they will have a feeling about Stefan? Will it be the same, like, the same Stefan who I spoke in the morning, and the same, will that be the same Stefan who is speaking right now? Or what will that, you understand the question, right? So,
Yeah, 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 yeah. um, yeah, I think the same person, of course. So, of course, my family, so my sons and my wife, we have quite a lot of discussions, and of course, we are not always the same and the same.
no, no, that's why I
Uh,
said a friend,
yeah.
friend.
Ah,
Uh, uh,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah, but even with my family, probably they will they'll say, no, it's so optimistic. That's not really grounded. Sometimes I am optimistic in their point of view,
yeah.
but it's not a different person. So it's uh, I I think I'm quite consistent in that.
Constant.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
perfect, perfect, perfect. Lovely. I want to go to the next segment, which is the seven questions which I said. But
Okay, looking forward.
before that, like I am going to pick one thing which you and me discussed in the PSS 2026.
Hmm.
Using that blank screen, either a black screen or a white screen in between the slides.
Yeah,
You remember? You
yeah.
actually helped. You actually explained one why white screen, why black screen, when to use what. So
Hmm.
I want to record that. I want you to explain that here so that I'm sure a lot of our PSAI members, our speakers will be looking at it. And the reason specifically I'm asking is because that was the first ever time I have seen somebody using it, but
Hmm.
I was actually thinking that it was basically switching off the screen and switching on the screen. Okay,
Hmm.
and that's why I asked you, why did you switch off? Okay,
Okay,
so
and I have to
I'll
add.
I'll I'll give the viewers a little background.
Okay,
Okay,
so
if you're a speaker, you actually talk, and then uh, in between slides, or probably let's say I have a five slides till I met Stefan. It will be like slide one, two, three, four, five in a
mhm.
way that I want, and in the pace I want, in stories I want, etc. I always believe that when my words are there, and if there is an image in the background, or if there is a let's say infographics in the background, there is a power to it.
Mhm.
The man whom you are actually seeing right now actually broke that, and he actually gave me a beautiful suggestion on why you should have a black screen and why you should have a white screen. So with this as background, Stefan, please tell me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I like to tell it. And then there's a fun fact for the Chennai situation
Yes,
afterwards.
yes,
But
yes.
the main thing is, if you imagine a speaker on a stage and a PowerPoint and a lot of, like in the cinema, then of course we are in a mood of um, looking and going with the flow with the ideas of the speaker. And most people are very connected to the pictures and we look at what is happening there. And um, I learned, of course, there's a lot of things I need the pictures to show things when I speak on something. But if I want to express a story, and then I want that people are in their own brain and they think and they create their own pictures and not being with my pictures. So I learned it's much more powerful if you have completely the black stage. There's nothing to see, but only the person, in this case me, who wants to, who speaks, who gives the idea. And for example, if I want that people think on a special situation they discovered in their life, then it's completely disturbing if there is a picture they have to look to. So just take this away. And if you compare white screen and black screen, if black screen and the completely stage is really black, then the complete focus is on me as the speaker, and the more important thing is the focus of the audience is in their own thoughts. So they don't have to look, and they can look for in their inner eye to their own experience. And that it's more important what's happening in the brain of my audience than what's happening on the stage. If I really have the wish to have an impact. If you have a widescreen, it's just not much better than a picture, because people are always in the awareness there will come something. It's like a cinema before the film. So the attention is on the stage and not in the inner mind. So therefore, I recommend, and I practice that, to have quite important parts of my speech with a completely black screen. So in an ideal world, there's nothing on the stage, and people are focused on me and on their own souls. That's the effect. But
Perfect.
in Chennai, that doesn't work, because you had a big stage, and there were the sponsors and the logos
Right.
of the event that was on the side with a light, and so you had always something to look for that. And in this situation, when I would have registered that before, I would have stayed a picture from the beach or something like that in the background. That would have been better than the black one, because in this situation, the black one, I saw that on the videos afterwards, is not it's not the same impression than it would have if the complete stage is black.
Absolutely perfect. And I started using that. I started
Okay.
using your technique and
And
your tips.
what's your experience with that?
It's beautiful because
Very good.
like more or less, I do mindfulness, inner engineering,
Yeah.
and like cognitive terraforming, like understanding the engineering of your own soul, and during those stages when people are actually looking at us, and suddenly everything goes black,
Hmm.
and then when we start telling them the specifically the emotional journey, that's what we do it either with regards to anxiety, stress, or bereavement and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
it
And
it works so well. It
it's
works
much
so well.
great. Very good. I'm happy to hear that. And it's, of
Credits
course,
all to you.
think the most impactful speeches never used PowerPoint. They don't have
Absolutely
that. So you focus much more on yourself and on the journey people are going through in their mind.
perfect.
Cool.
Super. So now let's go to that uh, next version, which is going to be the only constant version of all the
Okay.
Waycraft edition, which is going to come, which is called as Waycraft 7. I will be asking 7 questions to all my guests, same questions. And
Hmm.
my only request to you is keep the answers as bullet points, means as objective as possible. Okay.
Hmm. Okay, I
No
try.
gray areas. Yeah. So there is a larger meaning to that, is because we are collecting all the answers. It's a long form research, which my company is called MESMA. So there is a long form research which we are doing. That we are
Hmm.
asking the same questions from all ages,
Hmm.
okay, and for a very long years of time. And then I'm including Waycraft guests also into this so that I can get multiple demography also. So we can come and understand the answers and give a better picture of who a human being is. And we are
Hmm.
creating what is called as the human archive.
Hmm.
So the first question is, who are you when nobody needs anything from you?
Funny guy.
Perfect. There is an AI which is transcribing this entire this thing, so I don't have to note it down. It is noting it down.
Okay.
So, uh, uh, second question: what part of yourself do people benefit from the most, but rarely notice?
From my ability to think and to feel in a situation of other people, and to connect it with a tremendous amount of ideas and knowledge and connections to a specific strategy in a quite short time. So give me a challenge and a situation. I will go very deep in that, and I'm able to create a very good strategy in a short time.
Perfect. My third question. What became stronger in you because life hurt you? Hurt, hurt you.
Mhm. Um, my courage and
Okay.
ability to set up frontiers and say no
Perfect.
and protect my freedom and my freedom of time and yeah, my freedom of time and life.
Okay. Perfect. What ordinary moment in life feels extraordinary to you? Your life.
Um, discovering of new situations. Yeah.
Perfect. Fifth question. What silently disappeared from your life as you grew older?
Um, the need to have to do things, the musts. So I I would still work on that to decrease the musts.
Okay. Perfect. Sixth question. What kind of a human connection do you think the world is starving for right now?
Love and the feeling of um, unity all over the world between people.
Perfect. And my final question. When everything is removed, when everything else is removed, who are you?
An inspiring mind and soul, sharing joy and fun and joy of life.
Perfect. Thank you, Stefan. Thank you so much.
No, that are very personal questions, but it gets deep. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, that the purpose of podcast is that to know the real you.
yeah,
So
very good.
so that's perfect. So your final closing comment.
Well, I think it's a great concept for a podcast, and again, it was a great honor to be your first guest. And for myself, while thinking about and answering your questions and going with that path, it was again very encouraging for myself to recognize how consistent the most important things are, even if it feels very often like a hard effort to get rid of things which are not really nurturing the real core of what I'm really am and what I like to do and bring in the world. And on the other hand, how important that message to um, get rid of those restricting beliefs in the personal mind, in companies' minds, in the way which is become a part of a culture like people believe they have to be, or like societies believe they have to be. And yeah, that's great to see how close I am at this point with my speeches, with sparrings, with facilitation in leadership teams, to be able to help get rid of those restricting beliefs and get more joy, more productivity in people's life. That's really great. Thank you.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much, Stephen. And I would like to close this by normally, without talking about mental wellness, I cannot close because I'm a mental wellness ambassador. So uh, the core purpose of this identifying your real you is, as you would have actually seen what Stefan told, in every step of his life, let's say every step of everybody's life, he was not alone. There is always a community, either in terms of thinking or in terms of health. Same goes to me, same goes to everybody. So that's the reason why we kept as Waycraft together we are. So the purpose of this podcast is to say that no matter how difficult your life is, no matter how difficult your journey is, always have a hope, always have a feeling that there is going to be a better tomorrow. And don't you ever think that you are alone in this world, because there is always a person who is going to listen to you, who is always will give you a helping hand in whichever manner that the person can actually give it to you. And this podcast platform is also like that. And with that, I would probably say that if you what important thing is, if you like what Stefan actually spoke, if you want to connect with Stefan, I will ask him about his connections. I will give his email ID, his social media platform, everything in the comment, in the description, everywhere. You can reach out to him, say thank you. You can connect with him. He's a wonderful gentleman, and I can very well tell you that he will definitely live up to your expectation. So that being said, uh, this is a great beginning, and I really thank Stefan for it. And whoever you are watching, including Stefan, I would close exactly with the same dialogue which I do every single time. Always be happy, loving, and smiling. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you very much.